Hey riders and racers, and welcome back for another live stream. Today's live stream is how to how to build or bulletproof your body to be able to hold the attack position for going through braking bumps, or specifically being up on the pegs when the bike's really trying to throw you around. And I guess one of the tough things when you're going over braking bumps is you've got a bike that's trying to kick you off, and you're trying to stay on and keep in control. So the way that you bulletproof your attack position is you need to be stronger. Okay, and the stronger you can get yourself and the stronger that you can get your body overall from head to toe, the easier it's going to be to get through the braking bumps. Number one, just the easier it's going to make it, even if you didn't work on your skill. But once you do work on your skills and perfect that side of things, hey Glenn, what you're going to find is you can maintain that position all the way through a race. And what happens for a lot of us is we're really good, or can be really good, at doing the skills if we are fresh and if we just go and work on doing the braking bumps or doing a particular section of the track. But then when we apply that to race day, it changes, okay? And we start to sit down more and we're not getting in the right positions, and your legs get sore and you get arm pop and all these types of things happen, and the braking bumps become a lot harder. So first thing that you need to know though is there's two types of ways to build strength. Okay, there's what we have, which is called one way, which is called isolation exercises, and the other way, which is called multi-joint movements or whole body exercises. So the difference between these two is isolation exercises are exercises that isolate a specific muscle group. So for example, a isolation exercise would be like a bicep curl. So when I'm doing a bicep curl, all I've got is it's a single joint movement. What I'm doing is isolating my bicep. Okay, there's one joint going through a range of motion. The same as if I'm doing, say, flies. Okay, my arms are going up and down. Again, it's an isolation movement. There's just one joint moving or going through a range of motion. So those types of exercises are good at building muscle mass. But what we want when we're trying to bulletproof your attack position is we want your whole body to be stronger. So when you go and ride, and let's say you're going through braking bumps, you never have just one muscle group working. So you don't go through the braking bumps and go, oh, my biceps are the only muscle group working and everything else is resting. Or you don't go through the braking bumps and go, okay, oh, my quads are working really hard, but none of the other muscle groups are working. Our muscles are always working together as one system, as a whole body exercise riding. And that's what makes it so hard and so physically demanding. So if you're just doing isolation work and you're doing bicep curls and tricep extensions and using lots of machines at the gym, what's happening is you're training your body the opposite way to how you want it to move on the bike. Okay, so for example, if I'm doing all I'm doing is bicep curls, well, that you never go through that range of motion. You never just have your biceps working when you're out on the bike, because you've got your legs working, your core working, your upper body working, your calves working, everything's working, and that's what makes it really hard. Hey, Dave. So what you should be using is whole body exercises, or what's called multi-joint exercises. So multi-joint exercises use multiple joints. So to give you an example, if you do like a back squat, for example, with some weight, you're bending at the hip and bending at the knee. So you're using multiple muscle groups. You're using your upper body, okay? You're using your lower body, using your core, using your upper back, you're using your hamstrings, your glutes, your quads, your calves, using every single muscle group from head to toe is being used when you do a back squat with the barbell. The same for a deadlift. When you do a deadlift, you're bending at the hip and bending at the knee. So we've got multiple muscle groups that we're engaging. We've got your core working, we've got your upper back working, we've got your glutes, your hamstrings, your quads working. We've got everything from head to toe working. Other movements that we can use are like a overhead press, okay, with shoulder press. Again, another multi-joint movement. You've got the shoulder going through a range of motion and your elbow going through a range of motion. And so if you're doing the overhead press correctly, you are using your whole body from head to toe. It's not just an upper body exercise. You're working your glutes, you're working your quads, you're working your hamstrings. They're not the dominant, hey Scott, they're not the dominant muscle groups, but they are muscle groups that are working to help you to move that weight. Same with a bent over row. You've got the shoulder going through a range of motion, you've got your elbows going through a range of motion. It's a great multi-joint exercise, which is using the whole body. And again, if you're doing a bent over row correctly with the barbell, you're using your whole body for that exercise. Okay, it's not just an upper back exercise that we're using when you might use a machine, for example. So they're the exercises that you need to use. Common mistakes that I see with riders trying to bulletproof their attack position for braking bumps. Two really main things is riders will try and train body parts that they fatigue. And I definitely did this when I was riding and racing. So I remember going to the Nationals at Coolum one year, and my legs were a big issue. So I'm based in Perth here, so didn't do much riding. Only rode there. I've done two Nationals there. Um, and so I remember going to that track, and I remember being like a few laps into a race, and my legs were just killing me, particularly my VMO, which is that quad muscle that teardrop looking quad muscle on the inside of your knees. And that would get really, really tight and really sore and start to fatigue and burn. And it would get to the point where I'd just sit down. I was looking for lines on the track to try and sit down more and rest rather than getting up on the pegs where I should have been. I knew I should have been up on the pegs, but I just wasn't doing it because my legs were fucked. So what I would do is I'd go to the gym and I'd be like, all right, I've got to do more RPM sessions. So I'll be doing 3 or 4 RPM sessions, like spin class sessions a week. And then on top of that, then after that, I'd go and do leg extension work on the leg extension machine. I'd do like 3 sets of 10 or 4 sets of 10 and just pick a weight and try and crank it up every week. But the problem is, even though I did all that, like I thought I was doing leg work, is I still had the same issue on the bike, still the same muscles getting sore and fatiguing, and that was still holding me back, even though I was doing all of this leg stuff. And the real problem is what I was doing is I was trying to isolate the problem area. But chances are that probably wasn't, like if I really dug into it, that wasn't really the problem. So yes, my legs might have been burning, but my legs were burning because there was a lot of other things that were breaking down. My hamstrings aren't working as well. My glutes aren't working as well. My upper body's not working as well to keep me in position. So that particular muscle was the one that was being overworked. Another thing that I didn't look at was nutrition. Okay, looking at food and going, okay, well, maybe it's the food side which is the problem. And so what I thought was the problem wasn't really the problem. It's more just a symptom. Okay, I was trying to isolate the area and just get this one area fixed because I thought that was going to fix it, but that wasn't really the problem. What I really need to do is get my whole body working together as one unit. Next thing is a lot of riders miss the strength component with their training altogether, and they just have a lot of endurance work. And for a lot of my racing, this was me. So for 5 years, I did swimming. I did club level swimming. Wasn't interested in swimming. Wasn't interested in doing competitions, but I just did it to build cardio and build fitness and what I thought was building endurance. And I did that for about 5 years, 3, 4, 5 nights a week, however many nights I was doing. So I'm literally doing swimming with swimming people that are doing swimming competitions, and I've got no interest in doing swimming competitions. And it was purely just for the cardio and the endurance component, which I thought would help my riding. But even over those 5 years, the fitness was still the biggest hindrance and the biggest factor in my performance on the bike. And you would think with all that swimming, all that cardio, that your endurance should be okay for a 15-minute motocross event, but it wasn't. And part of the reason is that I didn't do any strength work. And some of the strength work I did do was more just very lightweight, high rep stuff or body weight stuff even. I used to do like push-ups in my bedroom before I'd get up and go out for the day. And I just didn't have a strength component there. I was trying to wrestle around a 100-kilo bike plus my body weight on top of that, and I wasn't doing any strength work. Okay, if you've got a 100-kilo bike plus my body weight at the time, I think I was about 70 kilos at the time, or 68 kilos when I was really, really light. And I just wasn't strong enough. I needed to be stronger and I needed to be doing weight training. So that's really it for today. What I encourage you to do is to steer away from isolation work and move towards whole body exercises or multi-joint exercises. And just make sure that you're doing that consistently. Okay, don't try to work on specific spots of your body that are having issues. You want to work your whole body as a unit because that's how it's working on the bike. And you also want to make sure in your training you do have a strength component. Okay, you're working on strength and working on getting stronger and using exercises that I've recommended already. So if any of you guys are interested in working with me, just for the next 7 days, for every rider that signs up and works with me, you'll be getting a free meal plan and also free nutrition free meal plan and free nutrition coaching for the length of the program or the length of time that we work together. So if you'd like to work together and you'd like that free bonus on top, send me a private message. Let me know what you're working towards with your riding, and I'll see if I can help or not. Otherwise, I will chat to you guys soon. See ya.